Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this event for admissions here at Trinity Academy. My name is Anthony Facinello. I'm the principal at the school, and I'm going to start off by giving you some sense of what our school is all about, and then I'm going to introduce some of my colleagues, Mr. McCabe, who will talk about the academic life of the school, Ms. Chichia, who will tell you all about the pastoral support and the pastoral side of school life at Trinity. And then finally, Mr. Smith will talk about the co-curriculum and the enrichment that we offer. After that, there'll be time for you to think of some questions and submit questions to us. And after 3 minutes or so, we'll come back and we'll attempt to answer your questions as best we can. So if we go straight to my introduction, I'm going to talk about how we are now part of the groundbreaking Future Academies family of schools. And that means we have a shared ethos and vision, and it focuses on providing what we think is the best academic education for every one of our pupils. And that's regardless of background or ability. We want our pupils to develop all aspects of themselves, of their character and their personalities. So we take a holistic approach to achieving a rounded education. The academic work your child engages in and does every day is going to be underpinned by the pastoral and co-curricular life of the school. So there are three strands: the academic, the pastoral and the co-curricular, and they're interlinked, intertwined, and they really strengthen each other. Now we're truly aspirational and ambitious for every one of our pupils, and that's from the day they join us in September. And we expect them to go further in the next 7 years and beyond than they may themselves have imagined possible. Quite simply, we don't allow any barriers to get in the way of your child's progress and achievement. Now, people talk about potential. As parents, we talk about our children's potential, and sometimes we wrongly think that it's fixed at birth by the genes that they've inherited. Now, when it comes to potential, the truth is actually very different. Teachers and our pupils at Trinity understand that ability is not fixed at all. You're not stuck with what you get at birth. You can develop your ability through effort and hard work. It's such an important lesson, and we constantly tell our pupils to focus on ability. And I know personally that all children are different. My own two children are very different. Children have different learning profiles. No matter what your ability level is, therefore, overall or in any one subject, you can make up for it through hard work. And if you don't get things right away, if you find something difficult, then through trial and error, having a go, getting it wrong, trying again, you start to experience success in smaller steps. So Trinity is a place where we don't accept the excuse that I can't do this, miss, or I'm not clever enough, sir, to study this subject. And we don't accept laziness and lack of effort. Hard work, effort, application, that's what leads to self-belief and confidence. So the clear message here: potential is unlimited, and having this positive growth mindset, it's called, it removes one really important barrier to success at school and in life. With this attitude, we're ambitious about what we learn and how we learn. And we believe that every child should have access to all the subjects that are taught in the very best schools in the country. And that includes grammar schools and private schools. So we remove this particular barrier. And to do it, we follow the Future Academy's knowledge-rich curriculum, which is it's broad, it's balanced, it's not a mile wide and just 1 inch deep. It's the opposite. So as you'll hear later, we have a full range of academic and creative subjects. In fact, we have one of the highest rates in London for pupils taking all the GCSE EBAC subjects. And the EBAC subjects are those subjects: maths, English, biology, chemistry, physics, computer science, modern languages, and history and geography. They're the subjects that open doors to A-level study and to the very best universities. the big city universities, the old universities, the Russell Group universities, including Oxford and Cambridge. So again, self-belief and success come through aiming high and taking on challenges, not ducking them. Depth of knowledge matters, and we don't skim the surface. In each subject, we really highlight the big ideas that give structure to the curriculum. And in, say, for example, in science, these big ideas are every effect has one or more causes, and every pupil here learns this. They learn that all scientific explanations are just the best fit with what is currently known and what scientists currently understand. We can see this in the way that our response to the pandemic is evolving. It's a perfect example. Science also leads to knowledge that can be used in new technologies and products. And again, the vaccines come to mind. That's come out of what we are learning day by day in the research labs. And the final big idea with science is that scientific applications have ethical, social, economic, political implications. And the children are aware of this framework around the subject. Every topic we teach within a subject feeds into the big idea, and we give a lot of order to the thought in which we teach them. So Trinity's pupils' knowledge has really secure foundations. In history, pupils learn that in every period that they study, different groups of people in societies in the past had different preoccupations, needs and views. That's a big idea in history. What all our children have in common is that they need access to a body of knowledge to build on so that they can make a success of school. In order to think deeply about a subject, you have to have knowledge. So facts are really important. And we teach facts in every subject as the first step for independent work and thought. So, pupils have to understand that water expands when it freezes, and they do it as a fact in chemistry. It helps them understand how erosion works in geography, why potholes are currently getting bigger outside in the freezing conditions. They understand that pressure and temperature are related, and a Trinity pupil knows why gases expand when they're heated. And if you put a helium balloon in a hot car, that's not going to be a good idea. As I walk around the school, dropping into lessons, I was doing it today, and I do it from year 7 right through to the A-level students studying in our sixth form. What I see are pupils who are benefiting from really inspiring knowledge-rich teaching. It's across this broad and balanced range of subjects. Children also need access to the knowledge that we call cultural capital, and that includes vocabulary if they're going to compete. English has Anglo-Saxon words. It's also got words from Latin and Greek, from French, Spanish, Italian, Turkish, and even American English. So pupils need to develop and use strong written and spoken skills in every school subject. And we insist that correct standard English is used. We teach grammar explicitly on its own in tutor time. All pupils study Latin from year 7. Latin is difficult, but it's a logical language, and it has rules about how it works that children can learn and they can follow, and then they can apply them to their use of English, and so better understand English and other languages. Studying Latin definitely builds vocabulary in English, because many words and phrases that we read in books or we use in formal writing and speech are themselves from Latin. These are everyday phrases sometimes that an educated person will need to know and use. Bona fide, it means in good faith. De facto just simply means in fact. There's one that people hear in law courts, caveat emptor, buyer beware. Mea culpa, quite a nice one, my fault. And carpe diem, the lovely one, seize the day. And then there are just everyday words that an educated person knows and uses. Ferrous, they use it in chemistry, made of iron. What we want our children to be is indefatigable, to be tireless in their curiosity. Insipid, lacking flavour. There's a good word that gets used in the food and nutrition lab when a recipe's gone slightly wrong. We have coruscate, to sparkle. That's really what we want our pupils to be doing every day. And ubiquitous, a lovely word, which simply means found everywhere. just like Latin words themselves. So that's why we do Latin. And with all this knowledge and these facts to get to grips with, the work we do in education is in large part about placing knowledge securely in pupils' long-term memory. And so we train all our teachers, and they're subject experts, but we train them in the teaching techniques and methods that have been proven to work best in the classroom. And this includes traditional direct instruction. So for example, repeated testing, it's called retrieval practice. We've found that it's essential if pupils are going to retain this knowledge and understanding, and if they're going to be able to recall detail, they need to work and revise in a particular way. So they learn it's better to do 10 minutes revision every day than half an hour once per week. Now, school is not just about good exam results. I mentioned a holistic approach, developing the whole character, a rounded personality, and we develop this through our pastoral teams, and they know our pupils as individuals and support and care for them fully. And in a moment, Mr. Cheer will tell you more about that. We have an enriching wider general knowledge that we think is very important too. And, you know, as a child, I remember when tea bag packets came with a card of collectible information about dinosaurs, and ladybird books were stuffed with facts about the solar system or nature, and even cereal packets used to have interesting facts on the back. We want children to take part in hobbies and in clubs, and so we run after school societies and activities for them, so they can learn and specialise and develop skills, manual skills, dexterity, and you'll be told more about all these clubs that run by Mr. Smith shortly. Enrichment comes in all sorts of forms: careers education, participating in sport, experiencing the arts, and all these are good for us. They improve our mental and physical health. Imagination and creativity are vital in living a rounded, happy and fulfilling life. And about all of these things, the academic strand, the pastoral, the co-curricular, we're aspirational in every regard for every child. And that's why we push and we challenge pupils here to work as hard as they can and to always do their best. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Jack McCabe, who is the Vice Principal Academic, and he's going to tell you more about the academic life of the school.
Good evening, my name is Jack McCabe and I'm the Vice Principal for the academic life of the school. We believe that education is transformative. Knowledge is placed at the heart of our curriculum. Working with colleagues across the Future Academies Trust, we aim to expose pupils to the best of what has been taught and said. The English Baccalaureate is a suite of qualifications that includes English, Maths, Sciences, Humanities and Languages. All pupils follow an ambitious academic curriculum, preparing them for the English Baccalaureate at GCSE. We believe this to be the best preparation, not only for A-level study, which pupils can undertake at Trinity Academy, but for university. Homework is an important feature of academic life at the Academy. Pupils receive regular homework. Pupils have 6 50-minute lessons per day, totaling 30 lessons per week. Pupils will have English and Maths every day. Science includes biology, chemistry and physics. PE is taught as one double lesson through the week. Art and food will be placed on a carousel, so in practice, pupils will have a double for half of the year. All pupils study Latin, as Mr. Facinello has said, and will study one of French or Spanish, and this is usually determined based on languages studied previously or languages spoken at home. Pupils at the Academy are frequently assessed through low-stakes tasks that check knowledge recall. Low-stakes tasks usually involve short multiple-choice quizzes, short extended writing tasks that provide a rich insight into the pupil's knowledge and help the teacher to target intervention. Formal testing takes place at several points throughout the year. Tests usually take place around Christmas and towards the end of the academic year. As part of our induction, your child will complete induction tests at the Academy in the summer term. Pupils do not need to prepare for these tests. They are very easy to complete at the Academy. For those starting in Year 7, transition work will be supplied, which is to be completed over the summer. We will also provide some recommended reading for your child. For those of you who do not have access to the particular books we recommend, we will provide access to our app, Sora, where electronic versions can be found. More information about this work will be shared when you meet with a member of the Academy staff for your induction meeting towards the end of this academic year.
Thank you, Mr. McCabe. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Cheer, who is our Vice Principal, looking after the pastoral side of life here at Trinity Academy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zuleika Chichia, and I'm the Vice Principal for Personal Development and Welfare at Trinity Academy, and this includes all aspects of inclusion and pastoral care. I have been at Trinity Academy for 6 years, and I would say that one of our greatest strengths is the relationships that we build with our pupils. Since opening in 2014, we have gained a reputation not only for our rigorous academic curriculum, but our exceptional pastoral care too. And this pastoral care begins before your child will even start at the Academy. In the summer term, you and your child will have a meeting with a member of SLT, that's a senior person from the senior leadership team. And the purpose of this meeting is for us to get to know your child and to find out what their hobbies are, or to know what they are reading, for example. And these are the first steps to forming a strong relationship. We often refer to these conversations on their first day at Trinity Academy in September. One of the reasons why I believe that we are a popular choice of school for families is because we are well known for our high expectations. Our expectations of uniform, classroom and corridor behaviour and effort are well received by parents and pupils. Our pupils know that we are committed to ensuring their success because we sweat the small stuff. We know that having high expectations builds self-esteem, increases confidence, and improves academic performance, and our pupils know this too. Our supportive pastoral structure reassures parents and pupils and lets them know that we are invested in their child's personal development. All pupils are attached to a form group, and the form tutor becomes the main point of contact for the family. Our pupils have 40 minutes every day with their form tutors, and they engage in a range of activities. During the first term, we focus on the transition process, and this will include forming good relationships and coping with change. In addition to a form tutor, we also have heads of year, and they have an oversight of all aspects of your child's education, from attendance and punctuality to attainment and progress. And you will receive regular communication from your child's tutor and head of year. Your child will also be assigned to a house and will experience a vertical pastoral structure too. And the reason for this is because we promote healthy competition between our pupils, particularly in sports, and the number of merits collected by a house at the end of the year. Like most secondary schools, we have a rewards and sanction system, and this will be clearly explained to parents and pupils before starting at the academy. We celebrate our pupils' achievements through merits, phone calls home, and rewards assemblies. We embed restorative practices at Trinity Academy, and after a sanction, a pupil will sit down with their teacher who will explain what needs to change for the pupil to be successful in the next lesson. We also use this approach to strengthen peer group relations. We are very proud to be the only school in Lambeth to have a dedicated wellbeing team on site. All pupils have access to this service, which includes drop-ins and bespoke therapies. The wellbeing team also supports form tutors in creating tutor time resources to promote the social and emotional health of our pupils. I hope this has given you a better idea of why pastoral care is so important to us here at Trinity, and we look forward to welcoming your child in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm now going to invite my colleague, Mr. Smith, who's the Associate Assistant Principal in charge of our co-curricular life at the school, to speak to you.
Good evening, I'm Lee Smith and I'm an Associate Assistant Principal responsible for co-curricular activities at Trinity Academy. We would like your child to join at least one co-curricular club each term. At the moment, we have a wide range of co-curricular clubs, including sporting clubs like boys and girls football, basketball, table tennis and badminton. We also have music composition, band rehearsal and science clubs. The most popular this term has been Manga Club, which gives pupils a chance to share their enthusiasm for the Japanese comics. During lockdown, I've been very proud of the co-curricular clubs that have continued to run during this time. We had a dance club where teachers and pupils worked on routines together. There was an embroidery club where we sent out packs for pupils to learn how to sew. Drama and music clubs continued, and we were able to loan instruments to pupils so they could do the practical side of music at home. One pupil in particular, during the first lockdown, he was in year 10, he taught himself as a beginner the guitar, and now he has just received an offer to go to a music college next year. So that's been something we're really, really proud of. My main highlight during lockdown has been the artwork that we've done online, or that I've seen each week. I've really enjoyed looking at the different pieces of art, and it's continuing now that we are back open. Some of the work has actually been entered in the Royal Academy Junior Summer Exhibition. In addition to clubs, we really do take advantage of London for trips, which we arrange to complement the curriculum. Last year, we took the whole of Year 10 to the Old Vic Theatre to watch Christmas Carol, and the whole of Year 11 went to a workshop theatre production of Hitler on Trial. GCSE art pupils went to the Tate Britain, and PE pupils went to watch the World Para Swimming Championships at the Olympic Park. There's also been various science trips to the London Aquarium, the zoo, and the Natural History Museum. Outside of London, we've had our geography field trip to Kent and the Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Expedition to Surrey. We also last year had our very first overseas trip, which was to the World War I battlefields in Belgium. This year has obviously been difficult to run trips, but we've still had virtual events, one of which was a feminist fairy tale panel, which was a discussion panel with authors, including Mallory Blackman, who I'm sure you may know wrote the Noughts and Crosses books. We've had basketball England referee and table umpire online courses for sports pupils, and we've had streams of live plays for drama students. With careers, our career support starts in Year 7. Every pupil in the academy has a login for an online careers tool called Unifrog. This has various features, including personality tests, information about different universities around the world, and videos about many different careers. We get guest speakers such as journalists, lawyers, bankers and doctors to come in and speak to pupils, and these have continued virtually during lockdown. With work experience, we don't send them all out work experience as a blanket thing. We look at each pupil individually. It tends to start in sixth form because the pupils are allowed to do more things and they're old enough to do work experience that is valuable. For example, we currently have a pupil that does weekly work experience with an engineering company. And last year, some of the year 11 pupils, they worked with a bank over the summer. Our co-curricular offer prepares pupils to be well-rounded global citizens who are ready to take their place in the world, becoming leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Now, we're going to take a break of about 3 minutes, and in that time, you're welcome. We'd love you to send any questions you might have from following on from what you've heard or questions you previously had. If you want to submit those now in the chat, we'll be able to answer those when we come back in about 3 minutes and talk to you a little bit more. Thank you. Thank you. So here we are. You can see we're socially distanced at school, and I'm really pleased that your children will have been back at school this week as well as we have here, with all our children back on site. It's been really exciting. And here we are, ready now to take some of these very interesting questions that have come in, people asking for a bit more detail about some of the things you've heard. And so what we're going to do is I've got another of our leadership team, Miss Fletcher Blackburn's here, and she's going to share some of the questions and present them to us so that we can answer them.
Thank you, Anthony. A couple of questions have been coming in about, can you clarify the statement about high performance and EBAC tables? And can you just give us more information about the EBAC subjects?
Right. So the idea behind the EBAC was a government focus on subjects that are seen as I said, opening doors to good subjects, A-levels, gold standard qualifications post-16, but also to universities. So these are subjects that universities tend to look at, and they look at the grades that children get in these subjects. And these subjects are my own subject, which is English, and that's English language and English literature, also mathematics. And then along with those two, there are the sciences. Now, children can study here at Trinity, they can study the individual sciences, chemistry, biology, and physics, or they can do a combined course where they do 2/3 of each of those subjects. They get 2 GCSEs doing a combined science course. And the other subjects that count towards the English Baccalaureate, EBAC for short, are the humanities, history and geography. And alongside that, a modern foreign language, so Latin, French, but we also offer Latin. So they are the EBAC subjects. And what we set out to do here at Trinity is to have more of our children doing all of those subjects. They can do other subjects as well, but they have to do all of those subjects to get the EBAC qualification. They can do either geography or history. They don't have to do both of those, and nor do they have to do both French and Spanish and Latin. They can take one of those. So I was talking about the number of children as a percentage. We have a lot of our pupils who take the EBAC.
Thank you, Mr. Facinello. Mr. McCabe, this question's for you. Mr. Facinello slightly touched on it, but a few families are asking about the choice of language that pupils can take. And there's also some questions about family languages such as Turkish. Can these be taken?
Yep, so at the Academy, all pupils in Year 7 will study Latin, and all pupils in Year 7 will study one of French or Spanish. Normally, we work with the families to see if they have studied any of these languages previously, or if the child comes to the Academy having spoken Spanish, then we'll place them into a French set. Community languages such as Turkish, we do offer them as a qualification at GCSE level. So the way we work with the families in that respect to prepare the child for the assessment, and we arrange for examiners to come in, moderators to come in, and to complete the oral assessment with the pupils, which is a requirement for the exam boards. We do offer community languages. They aren't available in every language, but they're available in a wide range of languages, and we've done them in the past, certainly.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCabe. We've had some questions. I think, Mr. Chia, this perhaps would come to you, just about uniform and buying any school bags. Do you have any updates on that?
So all of our pupils, we have a very strict uniform policy. And a uniform list will be sent out to parents with information about where they can buy the uniform and the items which are required for their first day at Trinity Academy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chia. Mr. Smith, a parent was asking, can you name a couple of the afternoon clubs that they will do? I know you touched on a few of them earlier.
Okay, so at the moment, we've had the most popular is the Arts Club. At the moment, as I said in the speech, every couple of weeks they are submitting work to the Junior Royal Society for Arts. There's actually some staff members taking part in that as well, which is quite nice to see. There's embroidery club, there's an acoustic guitar club. I'm trying to think of our slightly more unusual ones. Like I said, manga is probably the most popular. Then we do have, like what you might expect, we have drama, we have music clubs, bands, we also have your sports clubs. On top of that, there is not necessarily a club, but there's the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which is an opportunity for pupils to really get the teeth into extracurricular. They do work experience, they show a skill, they go on expeditions, and it's something we really push with the pupils. We encourage them to do because it's something that looks great for college applications and for university in the future. So yeah, that's a few of the crops.
Can I just say, it's worth adding, isn't it, with the Duke of Edinburgh, another strand of that is the volunteering that they have to do. So they have to learn a skill. So we heard about the boy who taught himself to play guitar. That would count towards your Duke of Edinburgh bronze, silver, or even gold by the time you get to the sixth form. But the volunteering, I think, is really very important for pupils to develop a sense of concern and making a difference to other people's lives.
Thank you very much. I'm now going to pass over to my colleague, Mr. Grofsky, Assistant Principal at Trinity Academy, because some parents sent in some questions that they would like us to address. So thank you very much.
So, Mr. Chair, if my child is ill one day and cannot come to school, how do I let you know?
Well, the first thing is we expect 100% attendance from all of our pupils. On the rare occasion where they may not be in school due to an illness, we would expect parents to phone in before 8 o'clock to let us know, and that we can update that on the system. And during the induction, when you receive your packs, you will have clear information and instruction on how to do this. So you could either email in or you could phone us. Anything that is a pre-booked arrangement, we would need plenty of notice, and in the same way you can email the school to inform us that your child will not be attending on that particular day.
Thank you. Mr. McCabe, how will I know my child is settling into academic life in your school?
Okay, so early on for year 7, we arrange opportunities for tutors to meet with parents to discuss how the pupils have settled in. Following the assessment points that we outlined in the presentation, so Christmas and the summer, we obviously send written reports home. We actively encourage dialogue between parents and teachers as well, so don't be surprised to hear your teachers calling to say that you've done lots of good things in class. That would be something that we encourage as well. You will also have access to something called My Child at School, which is a phone app, and parents are able to log into My Child at School, and they're able to see how their pupils are doing in terms of their academic performance, as well as how they're doing in terms of their behaviour, because you'll see merits that are posted on there and comments.
Thank you. A question for Mr. Facinello. What would you say a typical Trinity Academy student is like?
I was making the point earlier about every child being different, and quite often they're different from us as parents. They don't want to do the subjects that you did at school or you liked, and they want to carve cut their own path and carve their own futures. So there isn't really a typical Trinity pupil. They're all different, but once they get here, they develop attitudes that I think are characteristic of the academy. So as I was talking about, the willingness to try things, to try new things, really important, not being afraid of getting it wrong or failing, and that stops even the most able pupils sometimes, that fear of not being perfect. So giving them sort of healthy attitudes to trial and error, putting in effort, and that's why we celebrate effort as much as, even more than achievement. And we want pupils who are, they are very much South London pupils who can come with all sorts of talents, and they're very diverse. We've got this huge catchment area, and these pupils come together and they bring a great energy to school and to learning. So we want them to be curious. That's another of the qualities we try and instill in them. Real sort of insatiable, another Latin word, curiosity about learning, about education, and they love education and learning.
Thank you. A question for Mr. Chair. Are there detentions at your school?
Well, like most secondary schools in London, yes, we do have detentions. But once the child has completed their detention, and we have an escalation process as well, so it depends on the severity of an incident. But what comes out of that detention, we focused on the restorative practice after that. So it's about repairing the relationship, learning from mistakes, ensuring that they don't happen again, but also clear instruction and advice for the pupil as well, to avoid doing the same thing again and putting themselves in a detention again. So it's a very restorative based practice that we have.
Thank you. Mr. McCabe, how often is homework set?
So homework will be set daily for pupils. They will receive different amounts of homework depending on how frequently they have lessons. So pupils can expect more English and maths homework compared to art homework, for example. As pupils progress through the academy, the length of homework and the nature of homework will increase. Homework is really, really important to achieving those really top grades at GCSE and beyond, and it sets the mindset really for independent study beyond into A-level university. So we start early with homework, and we make sure that we give you lots of homework that you can do and that you'll be able to access in a variety of ways as well. So some of it may be online, some of it may be written, and importantly, your teachers will be there to assist if you are struggling with that.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, a parent has written in to say that they think that school is all about grades and that they're worried that the child getting involved in lots of clubs will end up being a distraction from getting those good grades. What would you say to that?
Okay, I get asked this, or this gets said to me quite regularly. So there's a few things I would say. First thing is the evidence shows that the top performing pupils academically, they do take part in co-curricular activities as well. The ones that are just solely focusing on their studies, they don't do as well, whether it's because the pressure they're keeping on themselves, they don't have any, say, distractions, other things to do, but that's what the evidence shows. The second thing I would say is a lot of universities, employers, they look for what's called the softer skills as well, things like teamwork, resilience, things that you build up in co-curricular clubs that you don't necessarily get in the classroom. So it's important for those reasons as well. And the third reason is quite personal to me. I went to Durham University, which a lot of my friends wanted to go to. It's very competitive. The reason I believe I got in, because I got the same grades as my friends, is my co-curricular experience. I played a number of sports at school. I played piano. I was also in the RAF cadets and used to fly gliders. So I had quite a lot of. I had my grades to get me through, into an interview, to get my foot in the door. But it was like my co-curricular. It was what I could bring to the university that really got me my place. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So we don't have a glider club, unfortunately. I'm not sure health and safety would allow that anymore. But things like, chess club, where children get to be very good chess players and they develop their skills across all these ranges. I think it's really important to say that busy children are usually the more successful ones. They learn how to manage their time. And being busy could just be sitting and reading a book. And there are some children, we tell all of our children, they must read for 20 minutes a day at least, so that they're exposed to millions of words over the course of a year and enrich their vocabulary that way. But time spent reading is great curricular enriching activity, which we encourage.
Thank you. Mr. McCabe, do you do parents' evenings?
Yes, we do. So we will write to you at the start of the year usually and outline the pathway for parents' evenings. It's been very interesting this year, obviously, with the way that schools run, and we're looking at a virtual parents' evening for this academic year. So even though we can't bring parents in face to face, we really see the importance of those relationships between parents and the academy, and parents' evenings are a vital part of that.
Thank you. Also, another question for you, Mr. McCabe. In regards to the testing that the pupils will be doing in the summer, can you just provide a little bit more detail, please?
Yep. So in the summer term, pupils will come into the academy. Actually, if I backtrack, first of all, pupils will have a meeting with a member of SLT where information will be shared with you. So don't worry about that too much. But what will happen is after that, there will be a series of tests that pupils will do. These tests cannot be prepared for, so don't think you must study or revise or work all evenings before those tests. Pupils will come into the academy, the tests are done online, so the pupil will sit down in front of a computer and they will assess their cognitive skills, it will assess their reading age, and it will make some recommendations for us, so we know what sort of support pupils may need on entry and where best to place those pupils when we start.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, are there any sports teams?
Yes, there are sports teams, and now that we've joined Future Academies, there are competitions within the trusts. So we have local fixtures with local schools and academies nearby, but we are also now taking part in competitions, let's say, within the trust.
And with the clubs that you run, are they all free of charge?
Yes, they are free of charge.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if they walk home by themselves, will the pupils be allowed to bring a mobile phone?
Yes, pupils are welcome to bring in their mobile phone. We understand for a lot of parents, they need to be in contact with their child before and after school if they are making their way independently. However, once they do come into school, we expect all mobile phones to be switched off and out of sight. And if they are seen or heard because it's a distraction and takes away learning time, they are confiscated. So as long as they are switched off and kept out of sight, absolutely fine for pupils to bring them in.
Right, well, thank you very much, parents and children as well, who no doubt are attending and listening. And I hope some of those questions came from you, the prospective Trinity pupils as well. They were really interesting for us to think about, to answer. And I hope that you've got a much better sense of what senior school life, secondary school life is going to be like when you rejoin us. We're really looking forward to meeting you in person and at the future events that are coming up as we head towards September. In the meantime, I hope you're really enjoying your days back in your various primary schools and doing lots of good work. We've got a quotation that you'll see on the screen. This is from the Greek philosopher Aristotle. And Aristotle, he said this in ancient Greek, not in English, but the translation is this: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And I think this goes right to the heart of everything that Trinity and Future Academies believes about education, that through practice, through repetition, you develop the habits that last you for your lifetime and that become automatic. And that, as I said, is part of how you learn and remember stuff, but it's how you build your character and the qualities that we want to see in all our Trinity pupils. The final slide contains our contact details. As we said, it's really important we have very good open communications with parents. We do surveys, we do questionnaires frequently, and our admissions office has an email address and the phone number there. So please do be in touch, and they will be in touch with you if you need any help through the rest of the process. Thank you very much to my colleagues. Thank you to you for giving up your time this evening. And I wish you a safe and peaceful evening, and look forward to meeting you very soon. Goodbye.